It's now been a good close to more than 2 months now with the Honor Magic 5 Pro, and it looks like Honor have really stepped into a place where they're looking to really compete with what Samsung has to offer, which is the Galaxy S23 Plus. It's the Honor Magic 5 Pro, finally, the S23 Plus killer that we've been looking for. Well, let's talk about it. This will be a review mainly focusing on the Honor Magic 5 Pro, but we will be pitching it against the Galaxy S23 Plus throughout the journey in the process, because at £949, it is basically the same price now. And with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 power in it and the triple 50 megapixel camera with the ultra wide selfie, this is looking great when it comes to the AI features, full photo, and the performance and the unique design that it's bringing forward. So let's get into it, starting from the outside and working our way in. The design of the Honor Magic 5 Pro is something I really appreciate. It's well put together. I love the frosted matte finish. In terms of the big circular camera module at the rear, it's something where I'm not entirely used to, but you know what? I do appreciate that with it there. It's something that makes it feel like its own. And it does definitely catch the eye, because most people, when they see me using this phone, really want to know what model this is. So I think just by design and the nature of what Honor have done, it's something that makes the Honor Magic 5 Pro stand out. But it is well put together, and it's something that definitely feels premium for the money and does do a great job. And this is one area I think Honor have really built up to get this part right when it comes to the design and the build quality. Comparing it to the Galaxy S23 Plus, the design of the S23 Plus definitely feels a lot more understated and much more akin to blending in and not being something that stands in your face as much. It's the minor details that when you look at the differences between the two, Samsung have taken a much more minimalist approach with the S23 Plus. Which one is better? It's really hard to say. Do you want a design that really catches the eye, or do you want it to really go under the radar but still feel equally as premium as each other? Yeah, that's the approach and the philosophy that goes with the Honor Magic 5 Pro and the Galaxy S23 Plus. The display experience on the Honor Magic 5 Pro really steps into its own, and in a lot of ways it's actually pulling a lot more weight than what is actually available on the Galaxy S23 Plus. It's high resolution, it's 120Hz, it's AMOLED based, and you've got more options in terms of control over the resolution, from a high resolution to mid to low, as well as 120Hz to 90 to 60Hz, as well as being able to leave it dynamically to refresh and change depending on what the application that you're using. You've got options to actually enhance the video, as well as frame rate booster, and everything about the display experience is premium above what the price is actually offering. The only thing I'll probably say is that it's not a flat display, and that's something Samsung does really well with the S23 Plus, with their symmetrical, even borders, and also the fact that it's flat as well. So yeah, the curved display does give more style and character, but it does make it hard to deal with when it comes to things like finding a screen protector or screen glare or accidental touches. But overall, it's been great. And I would say the display experience is a side that really is a strong one for the Honor Magic 5 Pro. Only thing I'll say is that the location of the fingerprint sensor is a bit lower, and it is of the optical variety rather than the ultrasonic, which is a lot more faster and reliable, but it does work really well. But the display experience, I will say that the haptic feedback when using the whole phone with the display and software is very, very good on the Honor Magic 5 Pro. And I would say it's actually a step up slightly compared to the Galaxy S23 Plus. So that's one area as an intangible feature I really appreciate that they've nailed on the Honor Magic 5 Pro. For the specs and the performance, both are powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, but with the Honor Magic 5 Pro, you do get 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. Whereas on the Galaxy S23 Plus, there is a special version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, which is a slightly better optimized and higher clocked version of the 8 Gen 2, but you do get 8GB of RAM. So in terms of RAM and storage and the complete package, you're actually getting a lot more on the Honor Magic 5 Pro. And how is the performance? Of course, the 8 Gen 2 is fast and efficient, and when you're playing your favorite games, which are graphically intensive and just moving through the OS and using it day to day and pushing it, you will not be disappointed with the performance on both these devices. So yeah, when it comes to specs and performance, actually it's a step above what you should be getting at this price, especially when you compare it to the Galaxy S23 Plus, which only comes with 8GB of RAM compared to the 12GB before you can actually extend the RAM using virtual storage on both these devices. So this is a good look when it comes to the performance on the Honor. And this is something I found that day to day, it really holds up well. And now for the camera performance, and for photos and videos, this is a really interesting battle between the Honor Magic 5 Pro and the Galaxy S23 Plus. I actually did a small sequence comparison between both of them when it comes to the photos and videos. So we're gonna play that through next and pretty much discuss a breakdown of what we are seeing when it comes to the camera performance on both. So we are on the front-facing camera for the Honor Magic 5 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus. Both are recording in 4K 30. The Honor Magic 5 Pro is limited to just 4K 30 on a selfie camera, whereas the Samsung can go up to 4K 60. You can switch to an ultra-wide field of view as well on the Honor Magic 5 Pro. Give you a nice wider field of view. You can do this on the fly while recording. Both do give you the option of being able to take pictures, pause recording and continue on the same clip. But the Samsung does allow you to flip to the rear camera, still in 4K 30 while recording on the same clip, and come back to the selfie. Doesn't look like you've got that flexibility with the Honor Magic 5 Pro. Still on the selfie camera, and it's 4K 60 frames a second on the S23 Plus versus 4K 30. See now the image quality is like. And with the S23 Plus, you can switch to the back camera. So we're on the front-facing camera. Both are recording in 4K UHD 30 frames a second. The difference you're seeing here is that the Galaxy S23 Plus does support video portrait mode, which is the pre-applied background effect with the blur, which you can reduce and increase to the default 5 or higher while you're recording, or switch to different effects. It doesn't look like the Honor Magic 5 Pro has video portrait mode, so just taking that into account for the selfie as well as the rear cameras. And this is the rear camera on both in 4K UHD 30 frames a second. And it looks like you can switch between the ultra wide and the main. Switch to the main. Switch to the 4X. 1, 2. We got 10X. 10X as well. Okay, interesting. And back to the main. So 4K 60 frames a second on both cameras. You have 8K 30 frames a second versus 4K 30. As you can see, when it comes to the camera performance, both hold up really well. where the Honor Magic 5 Pro misses out on certain things against the Galaxy S23 Plus when it comes to outright video performance, be it not having 8K video or 4K 60 on a selfie camera or video portrait mode in a selfie camera. It does do well when it comes to the extended zoom range and also the AI smart capture features when you're using photos for the rear camera. It does offer a level of flexibility that's very unique when it comes to AI at the center, and it actually does well. The results of the camera are great, colors are decent, dynamic range is not that bad, detail is there. But with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus, you can see that as a total all-round package, especially when it comes to the improvements to video from stabilization, dynamic range, and also excellent edge detection when it comes to portrait mode for not just pictures, but also for videos. This is a strong part for the Galaxy S23 Plus, but overall, the camera performance is strong on the Galaxy and also the Honor Magic 5 Pro. For the battery and charging experience, I will say that between these two, the Honor Magic 5 Pro really flexes here with a 5,100 mAh battery and also doing things like including a charger in the box that supports the maximum charging speeds and also the longevity that comes with being powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and the efficiency that comes with it. Although the battery improvements have really shown well on the Galaxy S23 Plus with the 4,700 mAh cell and also the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy and how efficient it is, the Honor Magic 5 Pro is really where it's at with the charger included, a much bigger battery, and also still gaining all the optimization of the 8 Gen 2 and the software experience here as well. So credit where it's due. I've really enjoyed the battery life experience on the Honor Magic 5 Pro. And the software experience both do come with the latest version of Android 13 out of the box with Magic OS 7.1 and of course One UI 5.1. And if you've been familiar with seeing what Android 13 has to offer, from the custom wallpapers, Material You all around with certain elements that when you're using, as well as the unique software features that are on both, Android 13 is at the front and center. And the software experience here is fast, is smooth, is fluid. There was no hiccups or slowdowns. And I really just enjoyed the smooth and the colorful nature that you do get with Magic OS. So the software experience has actually been great on both. I do like the fact that Samsung have really stepped into their own when it comes to speedy monthly software updates as well. And yes, I will admit, I've come more used to the experience of One UI 5.1 and One UI in general, but overall, Magic OS 7.1 has been a solid experience when it comes to the software. So what's my final thoughts on the Honor Magic 5 Pro? Yes, a few things to consider that. When it comes to the camera experience, I would love to see more focus on video improvements and also a quicker way to be able to change your video settings, as you do have to go into the settings and then change it that way rather than a quicker way to do it through the camera UI. But apart from that, at the price it's offering, how does it challenge against the Galaxy S23 Plus? And it challenges really well. Maybe the price might be a little bit too high compared to what I would personally like, but regardless, the intangible things like better haptics, great build quality, still a very smart and flexible camera, and also just the overall experience of using it, which is fast, which is smooth and clear, and also it's still feeling like a very well stepped up premium device. I will say the Honor Magic 5 Pro has a place next to the Galaxy S23 Plus.